Hello there, my name is Shivan, and in this episode, we are looking at introduced species and their inhibition to biological conservation in the Caribbean. Firstly, I would like to explain to you what introduced species are. They're referred to as organisms or creatures that are brought into a foreign ecosystem, unlike their own, be it by accident or intentionally. They're usually split into two categories, the first being invasive species, which are those that are harmful to the local wildlife and can potentially disrupt an entire ecosystem if severe enough. Whereas they're the exotic species, full name, which refer to foreign organisms that are not harmful to the environment. Now, looking at examples, first off, there is the infamous lionfish. After an incident in Florida, these accidentally released fish were brought down by currents as they ended up in the favorable Boca reefs of Tobago, where they had plentiful food and almost zero competition as they dominated the reef ecosystem, eventually decreasing the biodiversity. On the flip side, there is the great Tiscady, which are recorded to have been brought into the Caribbean islands, namely Bermuda, from the Southern American continent to deal with another invasive species, the nose lizards. They, however, were able to integrate into the forest ecosystems without disturbing the local bird population. On the tragic page, the rainbow trout was introduced as a source of food into Trinidad from North America, however, were unable to integrate or dominate due to unfavorable conditions. Next is another invasive species, the small Indian mongoose, brought way back since the plantation era of Trinidad with the purpose of controlling the rodent pest populations, however, did quite the opposite. Not only fauna can invade, as flora can be brought as well. The last example consisting of black sigatoka, which is a disease caused by the bacteria short. There are hundreds of introduced species that have been recorded across the years, where they are considered mainly originated in foreign continents, however present in our island of Trinidad and Tobago. How did these animals appear here? As explained from the examples, they can be brought in intentionally with varying reasons, the main being farming and to control certain species populations. The other is unintentional due to wildlife naturally migrating or brought accidentally on travel craft. This leads us to the main topic of how they affect the biodiversity conservation efforts. Firstly, due to the vast amount of introduced species, there exists no method available that can be inclusive of all of them. Invasive fauna are usually very mobile and very difficult to contain and separate from local wildlife. Given that they are similar to the local population, they are less discernible by the uninformed public. Some of these invasive species are actually beneficial, case in point, agricultural species. The severity of effect on local populations may result in the prioritization of eliminating them or leaving them to integrate. In maintaining a stable biodiversity, these introduced species can cause major upsets such as triggering species migration or faltering within protected areas as the target area or species may be negatively affected. Case in point, the lionfish within the Boca Reef of Tobago, thus consequentially affecting proper sampling, tracking, and conservation, especially for sensitive organisms which could face extinction dependent on competition or predatory actions by these introduced species. As such, finally, there are not many solutions other than individual focus that is placed on each introduced species, such as pesticides, herbicides, and hunting. Thank you for watching.